Hello, welcome to the Everton Daily Live Extra. What is it? Wednesday the 5th of July. Wednesday the 5th of July. I nearly went Wednesday. I think it's Thursday. I don't know why.
Not Thursday.
It isn't Thursday. It isn't Thursday. It's Wednesday the 5th of July. It's another day, another link to Everton. This time it is Alan Saint-Maximin from Newcastle. I'll be honest, disclaimer right from the start, I reckon this is just nonsense, but I'm going to say it anyway. He's got a contract till 2026. They'd probably want big money for him, and for a player that gets a goal every 10 games.
Surely they would just sell him to someone in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. But listen, the links. He's tweeted saying, "Work in silence, all will become clear" or something. So he's obviously on his way. But would you, if, and it's a huge if, he was a genuine target and wanted to come to Everton, is he someone who you'd want?
No, because he's just far too inconsistent. Yeah, he's just far too inconsistent, and he only tends to play well against Seamus Coleman. So that would be difficult if they're in the same team. Goals last season 1, season before 5, season before 3, season before 3. Assists 5-5-4-4. Is that really improving us? Is that making us better?
No, and it's less than the Marty Gray, no.
Yeah, exactly. So no, it's a no for me.
Yeah,
it's a no, and I think they will be looking. They'll get rid of him to Saudi Arabia, and someone will pay 25 million for him, and it'll be another 25 million that they get on the dodgy side, like they have today with the sponsor. So yeah,
allegedly. Well, it is, isn't it? That's the thing. But we're all talking about trying to make the football club better, trying to make the football team better. Everybody knows this team needs goals. Everyone. And yet we're linked. I seen someone had put in one of the comments, we should get Saint-Maximin and Adama Traore, have them on the wings. Well, we'd be fast as anything with 0 goals, because neither of them can score a goal to save their lives. So that isn't going to make us any better. It'll make us faster in transition, but there's no end product to it. Saint-Maximin's a great little dribbler. There's cameos where you look at him and go, oh my God, that's brilliant. But it's just not enough. We need players who put the ball.
What are they doing if they're not doing that stuff?
Yeah.
And that's what, like it or don't like it, that's what Sean Dyche will be looking for. Players who work hard.
Well, I'm being funny, right? Newcastle were brilliant. They done brilliantly last season, and they've gone to the Champions League. But they're not Man City, are they? Yeah. And they're not Arsenal. They're not a team that's got incredible footballers, and it just hasn't. They've got good, decent footballers, and they've got a lovely sprinkling of quality with the likes of Bruno Gomes. Obviously, Trippier's done brilliantly for them. But they're a very workman-like team. And then you've got that sprinkling in the final third with maybe Isaac, got good goal scoring Callum Wilson. So if Saint-Maximin was really as good as sometimes he appears to be, they would keep him because money-wise they're fine. And you want as many quality players as you can get in your squad and in the attacking third. If they were blessed with players where you look and go, oh my God, he's not better than Jacob Murphy, and he's not better than him because he's amazing, Anthony Gordon.
Well, they're going to transition, aren't they?
But that's what I mean. But
they're going to transition out of having one kind of player to another kind of player. And to be honest, Saint-Maximin doesn't really fit either because he doesn't work hard enough to help their defensive record, and he's doesn't offer enough offensively. So they're going to get rid of him. They're going to be trying to improve. Obviously, every season now they're in the Champions League. They're going to be looking for Champions League players. Saint-Maximin's not, but for where we are, and people go, well, then you should be all right. I want to. If a player for me can't get goals and assists, then you have to do other things to help the team. Otherwise, you're just carrying players, and we already carry too many players.
Yeah.
You are buying another Damari Gray. It's, we talked about Jore, and it's the same thing. Someone plays, you were just, once in a while they do something, but is that going to be enough for what this manager wants? I don't think so. And it's money that you'd be wasting as well.
He's got, don't get me wrong, he's, like I said to you, at times, he looks brilliant. Like he's a player that can get you on the edge of your seat because he can dribble, he's quick. But you're right, we need consistency, and we need people who whether people like it or not, we need people who will roll the sleeves up and graft for us and get goals.
There's no consistency at all.
No. And that's not, we just don't need that right now.
He just always plays well against us.
Yeah. He's a sprinkling player, isn't he? He's a player. See, I look at Newcastle and think he's the type of player that you would have on your bench if the other players aren't doing it, and you can throw them on for 15, 20 minutes for where they are. Do you know what I mean? For where they are, and they're in Europe and Champions League. He could come in and make a difference in some games. For Everton, it's just, from me, I just don't think he's the type of player we need. No. And I don't believe we could afford him anyway, to be honest. I think they'd want 25, 30 million for him.
No, they can get rid of him.
In good way. Yeah, Saudi Arabia, they'll take.
Of course they can.
Their own people can move him. Richie says it'd be nice if once in a while we were linked with the right side of the player. All the links this window have been right-footed, left wingers, Nonso, Harrison, Maximin, which is ironic considering McNeil was probably our biggest goal threat. We need natural balance on the right rather than shoehorning someone in there. I think Nonso can play out there, in all fairness, but yeah, we definitely need someone on the right, absolutely. We've got nothing on the right-hand side, literally, and we end up shoehorning a Wobie out there, and he doesn't do anything out there. So yeah, you're absolutely right, Richie. You're absolutely correct. Make sure you like the stream and subscribe if you haven't. We appreciate it. Thank you very much. No Name says yes, please. I love this guy. Good enough. David Gilbert says it depends how much they want for him. Liam Dunn says I have a box of chocolate Kimberley. 4 weeks past their best before date. Am I safe to eat them? I'm thinking,
100%.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
100%.
You'll be fine, mate. You'll be fine. Michael Barnes says he's always injured. And the Blues says, good player, but injury prone, and a maverick who barely defends. I'm filing this under not happening. We are filing it with you. We'll all be at the filing cabinet together. Eugene says Chelsea and City chasing Everton team. Seeing these links with, I'm not reading anything into them at the moment, to be honest.
Who?
It's Smith-Samuel.
Okay.
Samuel Smith. I can never
Context.
get the kids. Is she? I didn't want to give it any credence.
You've got to, it's it.
It is. Corin says, afternoon, Ped and Baz, hope you're both well. Yeah. Sam says, nope, always injured, will cost too much and doesn't defend. The Syrian Zillion says, have you guys checked to make sure the stream is live? Yeah.
Yeah, we've brought extra bodies in.
Extra bodies in just
to make sure.
John Hunter says, nope, he runs up and down like a blue ash fly with very little end product. We've got enough of them already. But Blue Fire Sanders says, even as a loan with an option to buy would be a good deal.
It wouldn't. Sorry. It just wouldn't.
Crimson VRS says, for me, he's more inconsistent than Damari Gray, and he doesn't defend either, so it's a pass.
I think at his best, he's better than Damari Gray. But
yeah, he is.
But I just think he's just massively inconsistent.
But then his numbers won't show that he's better. So Adam Prentice says, Ped, Alan Wake is free on
I've got it, mate. I got it last night.
Mate, talked about it yesterday.
Terrifying.
He done it. It's scary.
Terrifying.
How horrible is it trying to get to the light? It's horrible. It's just
that little, I get a little shudder every time when those things like
just emerge.
The Axeman comes alive. I was like, ooh.
You've just got to get to the light.
I got to this. I'm up to the bit where he's gone to New York in the second book. So, or the second chapter.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's good.
His voice is annoying though. It is annoying.
Yeah.
It's just a bit. It just doesn't sound natural.
It's a good game, though. It's a good game. That is scary. It's jumpy, and it is a case of
it's when they appear behind you.
Yeah, and
the camera comes back the other way. And you're like,
no, there's another one. Yeah.
It's not free for you.
If you're on PS Plus,
Yeah.
which
you're not.
Yeah.
You're not on PS Premium. You're not on Premium.
Oh, you said PS Plus.
No, it's Premium.
sorry, PS Plus Premium.
£100. What's £100 a year?
You should get it for the year. It's well
I've
worth
got
it.
about.
Yeah, but that's up to
I've
you
got
to play
about
them.
4 or 5 games from that this year.
Don't play enough to justify.
Well, then shut up then.
Oh, it's a great game. It's a great game. You're missing out. There's
Well, then
loads. You could have played
Just buy the game. then.
Thingy's free as well on it. Horizon. The first Horizon's free, which is amazing.
It is. It is.
It's amazing.
It is.
And there's 2 games. So if you bought them 2 games, there's 80 quid
Yeah.
straight away.
Loads.
And
Guardians
you'll
of the
already
Galaxy
see
games
Guardians
as
of the Galaxy's there.
There's loads of games.
There's loads, mate.
Loads. Well then, what are you crying about for then?
There's loads.
Wasn't rubbish at all. You're repetitive.
Crim-
In every day.
Crimson,
Enough for me.
Crimson VRS says would have Wilson over ASM. Yeah, I'd have Callum Wilson over
Of course
Saint
you'd have
every
Wilson,
time.
but
Every
that ain't happening. Although he does sound like an Everton player in about 2 years' time, doesn't he, Callum Wilson?
He's already 31.
When they, I know that's what I'm saying. When they
when
like,
they
when
get
they
better.
bought like Harry Kane back off Bayern Munich.
Yeah. John Pringle says Traore adds to the squad because he gives a different outlet and he's free. ASM is not the answer for 20 to 30 million.
I'd have ASMR.
I think a lot of people would, to be honest.
Apparently, I've just been sent this. There is a big shake-up coming for the FA Cup from next season. Not this season. Replays will be scrapped. Early rounds will be played midweek. The final will be played on a Premier League weekend. See, not bothered about replays being scrapped. Not bothered about early rounds being played midweek. But the final being played on a Premier League weekend is crap.
Yeah, it's awful.
That's crap. That's the only thing that's crap.
Shocking.
Put it at the end of the season. Leave it alone end of the season. The other two, I don't care. Bin the replays. I'm not bothered. And early rounds in the midweek, that's fine. That doesn't bother me either.
Yeah.
But
Don't ruin the FA Cup final by putting it in the middle of Premier League games. Just don't.
see, I like the fact that
Just
the replays could be scrapped because I think that make it more exciting for teams that if you like,
Just one-off games.
if you get
If you're all at home, a little club, you've got a one-off chance because that's the time where you shock teams.
would you ever go as far as like say anyone who's in like below League 2 or League 1, sorry, they get an automatic home tie for the 3rd round?
That'd be good.
Just
So
add
they're
that
just
little
guaranteed,
extra
give them a bit extra money. Yeah,
extra
why
money,
not?
But extra jeopardy as
Yeah.
well for like the Premier League
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
And therefore, the Premier League team has to like go, well, we either take it seriously or we don't take it seriously.
Yeah, I think it's
Add
a good
that little bit
idea.
of jeopardy because people will go, oh no, why would you mess about with it? But the point being is, football is becoming so stretched.
But do
now.
those clubs want like Anfield, Old Trafford, St James Park, Goodison, whatever, that in that 3rd round for the payday? Because that does really help.
That really does take away the magic of that. Just makes it a payday.
No, I know.
I know what you mean.
I just mean, but I from a like a purely footballing aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
because
I
teams
think that's a good
never
idea.
teams never win it. Teams never win on a replay ever.
Well, you're never getting 2 opportunities to beat a Premier League team, really, are you? It's on the day if they don't fancy it. Really, in general, you've got that's your one little opportunity, isn't it? The minute they go bang, you're done. John looks like he's making the draw, but I don't know what he means.
There's nothing wrong with the way the draw's done. First team out plays at home.
Okay, all right. You're just
but
looking
it's
for little bits.
getting-
That's all.
It's getting to the point where it's getting a bit like footy's just
Tedious, isn't it?
It's getting a bit. It's running up.
Today, the thing with that just keeps getting worse and worse. I just think there needs to be the only way for me that football in this country is rescued. But there's two. There's 2 ways for me. Always 2 things, John. Always. One, there's a wage cap and spending cap that everyone adheres to. Everybody don't care if you are Newcastle with 40 billion trillion dillion in the world, you're Manchester United with whatever, you're Liverpool with whatever. It's a same amount of money that every team can spend, and that's it. Or 2, there's a Super League and they all fuck off and leave the rest of us to get on with it, because it's just becoming ridiculous, the league. It's becoming ridiculous with what teams can. Chelsea just seem to be able to write a cheque every week for a player. It's just nonsense. And they're not alone. I'm not having just a pop at Chelsea. They're wealthy and have run much better than teams halfway down. Of course they are, so therefore they've got money. Manchester United and all that. But it's becoming almost out of reach to even. You should never enter a football competition not believing you've got a chance of winning it. You shouldn't. That's not what competition is. It's not. Competition isn't, oh, we'll put all these teams in and we'll just have some crap ones in as well to make up the numbers. That's not really what it is. No, there's variations in it. There's variations in it. There should be, but I'd be saying it anyway. Even if Everton were Newcastle or if Everton were Arsenal, you'd be enjoying it because you're doing well. But if you looked at the league as a whole, the Premier League has become Scotland. And we laughed at Scotland for 30 years going, we only got 2 teams. And it was no one else, wasn't St Mirren's fault or Hibernian's fault that they didn't have the same wealth as the other 2. But still boring, isn't it? It's only ever Celtic or Rangers, isn't it? The Premier League is, for me, it's poor. It's really the way it is. Or tilt it and go, right, the teams who finish in the top 6 can only spend 50 million and the team at the bottom can spend as much as it wants, as much as it can.
You can't do that though, can you?
It's like a draft version, isn't it? The best person gets the best player.
You can't do that because of the Champions League.
So really, this is what we've got. So I hope, me personally, I hope there's a Super League and they go. I'm just
but we're just as much at fault as anyone else for the situation.
So about everyone. No matter we've got a position where Luton Town are coming in the league and know that basically they're relegated.
They'll have a go though.
They'll have a go.
Lots of money. And they'll earn lots of money.
That's just my opinion. Just watching it. It's just I've just seen it getting squeezed every year. People can bury their head in the sand and tell you it's exciting.
I don't think anyone's better.
No, people do. People like to tell you it's dead exciting and it's anything can happen. Can't.
I think marketing people say that. I don't think real people. I think real people understand that Man City will still more or less win it, and it'll all come together in the last 6 weeks of the season. Most people understand that. But if you were to just say, "Oh, this is the way it is," most people just give up on it. And that's the last thing anyone wants, isn't it? That's the last thing any other sponsor would want or anyone like that. Let's be honest. You've got to, if people would give up on football if there was no hope. There's always hope, isn't there? Or you just take what you want from it. Sadly, that's just the way it is. It's running away from us. Like every sport is running away until it becomes one entity where, like a Super League. And that'll come. And I personally think Saudi Arabia will pay for that.
Hopefully in the next year or 2.
It won't be the next year.
2 then. Go for 2. I'm praying for 2. Ryan Brazil says, I'm a Newcastle fan and would be devastated if he left. He's an amazing player. Only thing against him though is his injuries, but he's definitely not the player Everton need. No.
Would you be devastated though, really?
I might like him, mightn't I?
I know, but that's
mate, can I just tell you this? Can I give you this bit of breaking news? Right? There's actually fans of clubs who like their players and their team, mate.
I look at their
it's
team.
Not all us.
I look at their team and I'm a football fan. I've been a football fan for, a very long time. What tends to happen is you have favourite players and then other players come in and replace them. And then that player just slowly, and they slowly just disappears because the next thing's there. And when you're a club like
If you really like that player, though, he doesn't. It's been a long time since you've really liked the player, mate.
I think Newcastle fans would get over it very, very quickly because of the talent they would bring in to replace him, because they will. Yeah. Newcastle will only bring in talented footballers now.
Yeah, they will. Of course they will. I'm not saying anything different.
Natural wastage, isn't it? It's just the way it is.
Purple Aki, basically 12 tweets just to say that we are totally skint.
Yeah, we are.
Fair play. But we will still bring in 6. Everton will sign 6 players this summer. 6. And there'll be a couple of loans in there. They'll pay for a couple. They may even pick up a free. Whatever. And that's just the way it is, mate. Spend money every single year, and we will do the same again this year. It's just the way it is. Too much money for them not to be able to spend money. It's how they do that, and how that's made up is that we'll make sure we sell him by the 30th of June next year. That's just the way it is. That's where we are right now. But when this financial year comes out, Everton will look in a lot better shape. But the real indicator is the wage bill. That's the real indicator. The wage bill's still too high. We've got players dropping off it, but we've still got a few players that are on too much money. We're not bringing in enough money commercially. And that's how it is. But Everton, as a football club, will still spend money on football players. That's just the way it is. Liam G says Horizon is great. Yeah, it's a belter. It's an absolute belter.
Both of them.
Game and Trooper says a striker needs prioritising at the minute. That's what should be focused. They should be focused on. Yeah, definitely. Detective Riggs says Alan Wake is a poor man's Silent Hill.
Fair play.
All right, I've got no thingy to disagree with that. Purple Aki says Beto would have been the signing of the century. Why? It's decent, but I don't think he's amazing. Personally, Everton want to sign Charles. Seeing that from AC. Well, so the links were anyway yesterday on loan, like. Talented footballer, but another one hasn't scored goals. Done well at Bruges, went there. I think he only got 1 goal last season for Milan. Attacking midfield type player. Nice footballer, don't get me wrong. Left-footed. You'd have him because he'd improve you if it was a loan to come in. But you couldn't look at him and go, well, he'll get us 8 to 10 goals because he certainly on last season he didn't. Someone just said any news on Everton's acquisition of Leeds.
Stalled.
Stalled, yeah.
Stalled on the M62.
What could you do? Someone said, would you take Kieran Tierney?
I would take Kieran Tierney. I was actually thinking about Kieran Tierney last week because there was a rumour going around that he was going back to Celtic, and I was just like, if he's going back to Celtic, I'd be straight in there.
Yeah,
100%. He's a good player. I know he mightn't be good enough to get in Arsenal's first team. That doesn't mean he's not good enough for us. I really like him, and he's properly tenacious, and I really liked Tierney, and obviously he was someone we were in for before we got Dean. So if he became available, we could make it work, even alone.
He wanted to come here, didn't he? Everton just wouldn't pay the.
Even if you get, I'd go for him this summer. I'd try and get a loan for him.
Absolutely.
I'd be like, Michael, you said you loved this lad.
I think it'd have been. I actually think it benefits Arsenal if he comes here on loan, a full season back up and running, and see how he develops for Arsenal. And if not, then they move him on, don't they? Problem that he has had a few injuries, though. You know, that's the problem.
I'd take him on loan. Definitely.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just
absolutely. H.E. Pennypacker says poor Big Dunk should have been given longer. I think, I'll be honest, I think it was Duncan's decision. Just putting it out there. He certainly wasn't sacked. So that's all I'm saying. But yeah, we'll see what happens with him. Where are we here? CF442 says, does anyone know how long the waiting list is? I've been on it since 2018. Do you reckon I'll get a ticket in the new ground? I don't know, mate, isn't it? There's estimations that it's 20,000 on the waiting list.
Depends how
more than John say, more than 20,000.
Depends how many extra season ticket holders.
There's 32 and a half, isn't it, at the moment, season ticket holders. So if they say they made that 40,000, I don't know what the bar will be, but say it was John thinks it might be 42, so another 10,000 on 3,000 away fans takes it to 45,000, and then so that leaves just shy of 8,000. Although that number, I'll say it again, I'll say it every single day till the bleeding thing opens. The capacity is too low. It's nonsense. It's once again Everton trying to live like a little corner shop instead of going 55. And they could still do it even at this stage. In fact, we've had someone in today and I should have asked them, but I will ask him. Everton could quite easily alter those plans. It wouldn't be a big issue and they could get 55,000 in there. Alternately, if the safe standing thing changes.
When you say altering the plans,
well, no, the seat size. Okay. The seat size. I don't need a seat that's as big as this table in my seat or here. I sit in the upper Bullens right now. My seat is sound. It's sound. My knees are a little bit tight. No issue. It's sound. I love my seat. My seat's plastic. It's about this big. It's fine. I don't need a seat that big. I don't.
Okay.
Right? But you could make the difference.
As a normal-sized human being,
I am.
I disagree.
But that's up to you. You've got a lot of that. I haven't, right?
As a normal human, I
you
disagree.
dived in, right? So instead of a seat in the new ground being this big, just make it a little bit bigger than the ones now. And if you can't sit in that, then go and do safe standing, right? Because if you made some of the seats a little bit smaller, you can get more seats in, which means the capacity goes up. You'd still be more comfortable than you are at Goodison Park right now. You would.
Hang on. You're jumping the gun a little
I'm not
bit.
jumping
No,
any
you
gun.
are, because
No,
you
I'm
haven't even seen one of the seats.
They give you the dimensions that are in the plans.
Let's
Tells you.
get to see the seats
The
first,
dimensions
and then,
are in the plans.
and we'll see what the differences are now. Yeah, but the point being is you can take the dimensions of new ones and take the dimensions of old ones, but it doesn't mean you can work out how many extra seats. Let's do that first.
We've done this, haven't we, John?
Are you going to
Yes.
hospitality facility? You'll see a typical seat at Goodison Park alongside all the new sizes.
Okay.
Right.
And you'll see clearly the smallest new size, clearly bigger than the standard seat at Goodison.
Thank you, John.
No, not.
I've been told by people who look at the
I'm not
plans,
arguing
the
with
difference
that.
is
Not arguing with
ridiculous.
that. What I'm saying is we don't know exactly how many extra seats could fit in. That's what I'm saying. So we need a figure.
I'll give you a number from an
Go on.
unattributable source.
Mhm.
Right? And the very specific question I asked was, without any changes to the physical structure, how many extra seats could you squeeze in? This isn't.
You should have talked. Come talking to the mic, please, John. So no, because that mic on the couch there, the presenter mic. Ned, sorry, John. Just repeat that so everyone can hear.
The mic's ready.
Go on, it's ready. Yeah, go on.
Right. So, an unattributable source.
Yeah.
Right. Still at the club.
Yeah.
Right? I asked a very specific question, which was, without any physical structural changes, how many seats extra could you get inside the bowl, if you will?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about making seats on the south stand smaller,
Yeah.
which was clearly Keith Harris's view of the world, by the way, ex-director.
Yeah.
Because his view was we could get more on the south stand, as an example, simply by making the seats smaller, which is the debate you and Ped are having.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
The size of seat that they want, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Where you fundamentally put them in nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
2,000 to 3,000.
Okay.
Now, whether that's changed
which
in the
takes us
last
to
couple of years,
55.
but 2,000 to 3,000, 2,000 would sort of do it for you.
Yeah.
That'd get you up to your 55,
Yeah.
which is a psychological number because it's a nice round number
Yeah.
and so on. It's also the size, of course, that King's Dock was going to be. And, of course, extra capacity we expect should come from rail seating
Yeah.
in good time.
In good time, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the 52,888 is a funny number because that's every single seat in the building, including the ones that officials use. So they're not all seats you can sell. So we're not going to sell 52,888 seats because every seat in the stadium totals that.
Yeah.
I think the sellable seats is 51 something. So again, that just makes, I can see your face. Yeah,
That's all right.
that just makes it sound a bit worse again, doesn't it?
It's further evidence. I mean.
But you know, we've tweeted, or I've tweeted about it. We've had Steve Carlisle in here and Barry Hancock's, right? We'll publish that in the next couple of days. We don't talk about this specifically, but it's quite a positive, you know, half an hour or whatever it was about guys who fly over the thing and are sad enough or diligent enough
Yeah.
to have read all the planning information and stuff. So yeah, let's see what how the people like that video.
At the very least, put 113 extra seats in, so it's over 53,000 for God's sake.
Yeah, it's about finding the. It's about finding the. Like John just said there, it's about finding the nooks and crannies, isn't it?
It's 113, though,
about,
isn't it,
no,
big?
no. I agree. Listen, I want it to be bigger.
Oh,
I'm not arguing with you. What I'm saying is, we need to make sure we accurate.
Just as an aside on that, just to give an indication on something. I've been in the Etihad a couple of times for Champions League games, mainly because my mate's season ticket holder and stuff like that. And of course, despite the joke around empty had and all that, they sell every seat. Whether they've always got bums on them is not the same thing. They sell every seat.
Yeah.
And their creativity around filling areas that were concourse areas or footways and stuff like that. The ones I've seen around the manager's, whatever it's called, I can't remember what it's called, the manager's room, which is like a little hospitality thing.
Yeah.
And it's literally a little temporary stand put on what would have been a concourse area. And there's 100, 150 people can get into that little stand. And you can just about see it on the telly. It's up in the gods, of course. And that's why they're extending their stadium. But they're not shy. They squeeze people in, and when we talk about squeezing extra seats in, we're not talking about people sitting behind pillars and stupid things like that. We're talking about just seats that weren't, areas that weren't originally intended to have seats, but could have seats without too much difficulty.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just think even edging it up over 53 is a big thing as well, and that doesn't take much. But yeah, the reality is I don't know about the waiting list. I don't know how you'd do it.
I've said before, I wouldn't.
You wouldn't extend it.
I wouldn't give anyone a extra season ticket
for the first year.
I really wouldn't. That's cold, but that's the reality of where we are.
Yeah, that's so people, season ticket holders can decide.
Well, yeah, that's so the season ticket holders will be given. Got to make we talked about this yesterday on Live at 5. Me and Mike, and obviously he comes from a different position because he hasn't got a season ticket. Yeah, we were talking about whether we moved in halfway through the season. I'm saying, well, if we moved, the logistics and all that, and I was like, well, for that season, say you moved in halfway through it.
Yeah, I'm listening.
You'd have a ticket price, season ticket price, which was the average of both the new and the old. You'd find an average, and I'd say, well, for the whole of that season, you wouldn't have any new season ticket holders. You'd just have your Goodison season ticket holders. We'd all be probably given allocated our seats depending on the size of our groups and where we sat and that kind of thing. And then at the end of the season, we can, if we as season tickets want to move. I mean,
it's because like
you've had your season ticket for over 20 years. I've had mine for over 20 years. So John's
I have moved, to be fair,
but you've still got your season ticket.
Yeah.
I've had mine for over 20 years. I think as a season ticket, we should have the right.
30 odd now,
we should have the right to go in and feel comfortable for where we're going to be sitting for probably the rest of our lives.
And it gives you that year then, doesn't it?
And the other side of it is the cold hard fact that if everyone else is a walk up, the tickets are going to be more expensive. And if you're a football club, you've got to balance that out, haven't you? Yeah. You've got to balance that out.
Yeah, clearly, you'd increase it then at the end of that year. But I think you're right in saying
that's if they move in halfway through the season.
If they went, you've got the opportunity to sit there and go, do I like these people around me? Because at the moment we've all got, there'll be a few people around me, it'd be made up on moving. But we've all got mates around us who we go. I mean, it's a mad thing, isn't it? It's that thing when you go back the first game, you see everyone. It was dead weird going back after COVID. And people were like genuinely made up to see people, and people were like, the older people were like, oh my God, I'm made up, you're all right. And it really brought it home to me. I thought that when I went back, I was like, for some people, this is their thing of going to match, and all these external people who they probably, a lot of them, they don't see other than
it's a very human thing, isn't it? For 2 hours, for 2 hours every 2 weeks, those people are your best mates, and you don't think about them.
I've kissed half of them when Everton have scored them.
You don't think about them for the next 2 weeks, really. Then you go in, and it's just like half of them you probably mightn't even know half of the names.
No, I don't.
And things like that. But they're your mates, aren't they? And I seen someone today on Twitter saying one of the biggest fears they have of leaving Goodison is being put round people that they don't like. And for me, I just feel like,
and that would give you that, even if Everton went in, and again we've had Barry and Steen today. You'll know Barry on YouTube. Barry 1878 does all the drones. He's been drone Barry. He's been in today.
Droning on.
Steve, they were very good. Steve Carlisle was in, who's like a building fella, being involved in all building processes and everything. So it was dead interesting listening to the two perspectives. But they're talking about, when the plans were, Steve in particular saying, the plans say towards the end of 24, but towards the end of 24 to him as a building expert is September. He's like, so
Right.
the point was going to be, so if we do go in, kind of like, let's say it's December, then at least give us till May. So we've got 6 months to go. Do I like these people?
Yeah.
Am I sat in the right seat? You know, have I got a grace period then when I go, actually, can I move because I don't like this?
No,
or
I think that's
don't
right.
like the view.
Because
And then just to finish, and then that close season, then sell season tickets to everybody else then on the waiting list.
What we were saying, or probably what I was saying, is, you know, the certainly with the ground. I mean, talking about December 2024, Everton, I don't know, probably leaning towards filling the whole season. But is a question I'd like to know. It's all because of the internal stuff. Is that stadium, the internal, going to be working at full capacity, as in there's the maximum amount of people who could be possibly working on site? Is there no way if there isn't, is there no way they can get the extra staff to say, right, we're going to get this finished 3 months early by doubling the staff?
Steve said there was.
There was what?
There was that opportunity.
So that's.
But it simply comes down to money.
But to me though, you're still gonna have to pay those people for an extra 3 months. So and again, it is coming down to money, and I don't know what money they've got to hand and the cash. Of course, I don't. But to me, it makes more sense if you go to someone and say, "Listen, can you give us the money? That means that we work 3 less months, which we would have had to pay these guys anyway for. But we can get the stadium open towards the beginning of the season and we start earning money from it, which would effectively be a whole year earlier for the sake of getting the whole thing night and day like Liverpool are trying to do at the moment with their stand. They are trying to get that stand. There's talk that it's going to go over, but Liverpool are like, because Liverpool were going to get that roof removed in the World Cup break, and they made a decision that it was just too much mess and the nights were the days were too short. It was going to be too complicated, so they said, right, end of the season, literally the minute off the pitch, the diggers came on. They dragged it, and they're working night and day to get that done, right? So couldn't Everton do that, just say, right, we're going to cut this bill down by 4 months, by absolutely night and day on site, you're in the stadium, and we're going to get this. And if they need extra money, surely they can go to someone and say, but we'll be in this stadium a whole year early, because it would be a whole year earlier if they're now edging towards starting the 25-26 season at the new ground. That, to me, just is pure common sense.
See, I don't believe they are edging towards that, but I think what they're doing is it's arse covering. They're absolutely arse covering, because what? Again?
No, but what they're saying, okay, fair enough. I appreciate, but if they're saying it's December, well, let's get it done by August then. Let's get the men in. Let's get double up. Get the men, the women, whatever.
Well, what Steve was saying was, again, everything's bobbing along. A lot of the work keep going on, and soon it'll become a sealed unit. And therefore, you're working inside. You can do nights. You can have different teams. You've just got to have the funding. That's all. If you've got the funding. And he said, what you often find with builds is a lot of the people you're using want to get onto the next job.
Of course they do.
So they might come to a price arrangement where you go, okay, well, you want to get off to do your next thing because it's money in the bank. Everton will want it. So there could be a bit of play. I just don't know whether Everton have got that funding.
And of course, this is when, and you're absolutely right, because people say, oh, maybe they'll have a month off. No, they can't have a month off, because the minute you start working on a build, those people go and work for somebody else.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
If you're a builder, or whatever, a tradesman, you have to move to the next thing.
Yeah.
So there ain't going to be any stoppages. But I appreciate. To me, it just seems a no-brainer that they get together with Lang O'Rourke and go, right,
we step this?
We're stepping this up internally, because, like you just said, it's a sealed build. You can do nights, days, 24-hour. And get it open. Because the way to think about it is, if they can get it open for at least September 2024, it's a whole year of extra money.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
And the other thing I was going to say as well
Yeah,
is, and
go
I
on.
imagine we were somewhat getting people in there. I imagine people somewhat logistics. I think, you know, I can envisage what they'll do is probably when we look to renew our season tickets towards January, February, won't it? They might start then looking to maybe look to put the stuff out there to ask people how many are in their group,
and all that.
where they already obviously know where they sit, and then that's when they'll start using
Allocating
the Ticketmaster
stuff,
stuff and
To
virtual
allocate it.
reality to start allocating those seats.
Brad says, Basman's the same you were saying about Bill Altor. I worry with them sort of transfers because he could be another Keane or Sandro, or we could be lucky and have another Lukaku. It's a risk, mate, isn't it? It is a risk, but yeah, you never know. But yeah, it's good to see you, mate. See you on Friday. A lot of people saying no to Saint-Maximin there. Adam says, hope Dyche has a week of gaffer days planned for them when they get back in. It's the least they deserve after some of the performance. Gaffer days is, of course, where there is no football, and he just runs and runs and runs them. He has already said it's going to be the hardest pre-season deal I've ever had, which I can only welcome. Ruse says, was just watching the live from last night, and I actually paused for a second when you guys brought up the Dan Meese comments. Here's a guy with no affiliation to the club. He comes out and says something instantly after someone said something negative about his work. Yet our club, after everything that has gone on for 2 years, cannot say a single word. It's pathetic. The club needs more risk.
Well, that's another thing we were talking about yesterday, like saying about the Dan Meese quote. That's why when that Dan Meese
More risk.
more risk, yeah. When that quote came out, that's why, like, literally wanted to get it out there ourselves, because it needed to be put out there. It was such a good quote about the stadium. People that seem to be terrified. I mean, someone put a comment in going, "Oh, could take us ages to adjust to this stadium." It's like, well, what do you want? The professional footballers, they've got to get out there.
Well, it'll take us ages anyway, won't it? Whichever time we go out, if that's the case.
So yeah, and it's to me, it's just like you've got to get out there. But again, when someone this yesterday with Mike on the Live at 5, it's like Everton have, you know, knowing last week Colin Chung comes out and went, "Oh, there's this." We never said that the stadium would be open, but you never either. You allowed people that to go on, didn't you? You allowed that narrative to go on. Not Colin Chung maybe, but the football club allowed that narrative to be spun for ages and ages and ages. So when that finally come out, people were making a big deal, going, "Everton suffer another stadium blown."
Yeah.
Like, if that was always the plan, why didn't you just tell us?
Yeah.
Why didn't you just say?
Why did you let it run?
Why did you let it run? And people are like, "Oh, it's the last season of Goodison. Oh, they'll have a commemorative kit and blah, 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 blah." It's like, why did you let that run on? Why didn't you just say, "Yeah, we're looking to be in by this date"? Because you would have known the plans.
I honestly believe it's all arse covering, mate. I think they're terrified. They're absolutely terrified of it, something happening, and it's not going to plan, and therefore it'll reflect badly on them if something did go wrong. Do you know what I mean? So I think give people a worst case, you know, under promise, over deliver. That's how they're looking at it.
I don't think I'm that clever.
But I think they do. I think they're terrified. You know quite well what it's like. You know, and sometimes you've got to just, you know, they might be saying it and going, "Look, this is all part of the contingency, that if we have a bad winter and think," but even that to me doesn't add up, because the build will be done. So it's the internal stuff. Well, what a bad winter, but you're working internally. So
yeah, there's still elements of the roof.
No, of course there is, but even by the time,
it's a seal. It'll be a sealed. Sealed. That's why for me, I don't understand why they aren't saying, right, we for the last 3, we're going to double it, and we're going to knock 3 months off this.
Yeah,
it can be done. It can be done as long as obviously you're not going over the capacity of, you know, you have multiple teams working. Simple as that.
Yeah.
You're in your hands.
No, I agree. Michael 97 says, "All right, lads, either of you two dog owners, Mrs. and I are getting our new Staffy puppy today. Can't bloody wait. God knows it'll be a nice distraction from our appallingly run club and lack of news."
Yeah. When you say nice distraction when it's crying in its bed at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Well, it is a distraction.
Little tip for you: put it in its bed, right? Put it in its bed or its crate. Put a little ticking clock in there with it.
Don't put it there when you put it shit as well.
Shut up, Ned. put a little ticking clock
Go
when
on
it goes
then,
to
why?
bed because it reminds the dog of its mum's heartbeat
Oh,
when
nice.
it was lying on it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah.
calms them down.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is like though. Don't if you're crating your dog, don't put it in the crate when you're punishing it. Because the dog can't associate the place where it feels comfortable. It's crate. People think crating's cruel, but it's not actually. But don't put it in its crate if you're punishing it, because it will start to associate its bed being the place that you are punishing, so it'll feel punished all the time. Again, a little tip for you.
For more dog tips,
I've got more dog
visit
tips. I've got 40 tips, mate.
www.ped.com.
Telling you, mate.
.ped.dog.com. There you go. Yeah. Graham Rogers says puppies are a effing nightmare. But it's worth it once they come back, isn't it? Once they come through with the boss, aren't they? Alex says, think 40 million for Bilal Torres too much. Think he's a good player. He'd defo have him, but not for that amount. Yeah, 40 million is far too much, to be honest. Dean Williams says most Newcastle fans don't hate Everton. It's just Twitter fans. They don't represent us real fans who actually have season tickets, mate. We just hate Pickford and Peter Reid. Fair play. Fair play. Got a lot of time for Everton and their fans, both working class areas where football is our life. Hope you just get back where you belong. Nice one, Dean. Nice one. Yeah, like last few on Premier then, but done. Jake says, what do you think about the Ketelaere? He's good. He's a lovely, talented footballer, but last season didn't go the way people thought it was going to go for him. Could just be the first season. Would I take him on loan? Yeah. Would he guarantee Everton goals? No. Could he? Is he capable? Absolutely, he's capable. But we'll see. We'll see. And Milan do let people go out. They don't, we've seen it with Tonali this week. He's crying. He didn't want to leave, and he's gone. He's obviously chosen to go to Newcastle. And, it's good for him, but he didn't actually want to leave Milan. But Milan are in that place where if you've got money, see, if I had the money, or if I was Newcastle and wanted a striker, I'd be going back to Milan for Rafael Lau. Or if you're a Man United or something. But Rich Bonds has totally agreed, Baz, it's becoming a farce. I hated the Super League idea, but now I'd happily tell them to do one. Steve P says, Baz, would you consider Han Noah Masengo on a free to replace Davies? Turned down a new contract at Bristol. He was at Oxford. Yeah, I've seen him. He's a good player. Good age. Yeah, take him on a free. Rich Bonds says Tierney is a proper player, but made of glass. I'd still have him though. Steve says, Baz, I've just completed the Game Control, one of the most underrated games around. It's by the same developers as Alan Wake, has references to him in it. They're set in the same world. Gameplay and story are proper mad. The way you use the light in Alan Wake is, in this you use telekinesis to launch objects at enemies. Set in a massive FBI building. It's got similarities to the film Inception. What's it called? Game Control. Okay, I'll have a look at that, Steve. I mean, it sounds terrifying, but we'll have a go. Michael Wood says, hello lads, the new offside rules, how many controversial goals will we have cancelled that we've scored legitimately versus how many controversial goals will be given against us? I reckon 3 cancelled for us and 6 and 3 against us, given a swing of 6.
But they're not actually coming in.
They're not actually doing it anyway.
Well, they're trialing it, but it's the trialing in like Norway under 21s. It's gonna be like probably a couple of years till it comes in.
Yeah.
So there isn't really any change in the offside rules this year.
Roy Vernon says, I agree, Baz. Is there a reason why the North stand is so low at the back? Mr. Ped?
I don't think it is low. It's just not as high as the South stand, because the South stand is one big stand, isn't it? I think it's just the rest of the stadium is just 2-tiered, whereas the South stand is 1-tiered to give it like an intimidating end stand. I don't really know, but
okay. Derek Polahonky says, haven't been able to tune in for about a week because my wife and I welcome the world's newest blue into the world. Yes, Derek, congratulations, mate. Oh, your missus is all right as well. Tom Long says, all right, lads, hope you're well. Jack Harrison, Scott McTominay, Che Adams makes sense with wanting Premier League proven, but it has to be mirrored with adding some risks in controlled way, not all eggs in a 40 million Tory and Rodrigo. Anyway, see you Friday. Fair play. Tom, see you Friday, mate. Chris says, if you take on extra workforce for any period, you are depriving existing workforce for that period after the early finish. Also, where would you acquire extra workforce? Would you take, what do you do with them on completion, says Christopher?
That's not my...
Yeah, from our perspective, Chris,
that's not my
that's
issue.
not us, is it?
There's
a lot of companies do it.
At the end of the day, that's up to Everton and you know, Lango O'Rourke might be able to get onto another job earlier, mightn't he? For all we know, I'll be honest, tradesmen, you know, there's work out there.
Right, the last one, Lewis makes. I've just read in The Athletic about Real Madrid's new stadium. They sold 30% of their revenue for concerts, events, for a total of €360 million over 20 years. They make more on events and concerts than we will on everything in total. Shows the difference. Yep. And also, looking back on the Carlo appointments, how damaging was the transfer window? Godfrey 20 million, Alan and Decore 20 million each with huge wages, no resale value. Well, Godfrey's got resale value, hasn't he? It's whether or not.
And he didn't really buy him either. On the state, I mean, it's the Bernabeu. It's Madrid. It's the centre of Madrid. It's sort of like in the financial area. It's gonna have multiple uses. You can literally turn it into all kinds of different stuff because it's got the ground goes underneath and stuff, hasn't it?
Yeah. I'd throw that link and hit the like button, subscribe as well. Thank you very much. Abigail says, hi guys, I've just met 5 Everton fans working in Tottenham Morrison's. It's nice. Not Tottenham. I don't know that one. Yeah. It's nice not to be the only Everton fan down here. It's right, Abigail. Right, we are going live at 2 o'clock on More Than a Game. That's a general. We're going to be having general chat about the football transfer. So get over there. The link is in the description. Go over, subscribe, and if you want to carry on listening to us for another half an hour, do it. On all things football, not Everton though. Everton, we're leaving Everton at the door right here. Hit the like and subscribe on the way out of this one. Thanks very much everyone who's joined us. We'll see you later. Bye. Well,